Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Iron Eagle Mike. It's January 27, 2014. It's a beautiful Saturday here in Orange County, California. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend and that you had a awesome week as well. Wow, where do I start? Well, I'm just reflecting. Today is the fourth year when I got diagnosed with with a condition that forever changed my life. So January 27, 2014, Vancouver, British Columbia, I got the official diagnosis that I have autoimmune hepatitis, with stage 3 to 4 fibrosis of my liver, and possible liver transplant. I reflect on that because, the previous year, I just, I did a transformation in 2011, 2012, and from 2012 to 2013, I had the most amazing feeling of life, of energy, of being in top physical shape, mental focus, and then 2013 rolls in, and I get hospitalized twice, seriously. First hospitalization, April 29th, 2013, Anaheim Regional Memorial. That was the scariest time of my life. And at one point, on the third day I was in the hospital, I was really close to death. And my heart rate had gone down to 40, and I was looking at the monitor with a bit of apprehension, like I really couldn't do anything. So I was lying in bed, got tubes all over me, IV, oxygen, and I was mad, I was scared, and I was wondering, why? Why does this happen to me now? I had just reclaimed my health. I was angry. I was angry that even though I had lost the weight, I reversed my type 2 diabetes, comes this hidden killer disease that nobody knows about. Because that first hospitalization, they didn't know. They didn't know what was going on in my liver, didn't know what was going on with my gallbladder. And I just left it up to the universe, to God, whatever your belief system is. For me, I just went inward further. I learned a lot. The training that I got from, my spiritual coach, Radha, and Maya. I had to think out of the box because, my upbringing, my traditional upbringing was okay, I have to pray outside, externally, to ask for help. Yes, it's great to ask for that, but what I learned was that I also have to go inward and reflect and be grateful and talk to my body, talk to my cells, and really communicate. Because it was touch and go. And that third night, a lot of people were praying for me, friends, family. It was like the dark night of the soul, really. So that was May 2nd, May 2nd of 2013. So, and miraculously, according to the doctors, my body started regenerating, and my vitals, normalized. Even my liver enzymes, which were 100 times more than normal, had subsided, and they, I had stabilized. But it was, I remember when I was, I was seeing a light, and I was asking, is this it? Am I heading towards the light? Am I in dark? No, I wasn't. It was just a glimpse of where I should be going. So, amazingly, I got checked out of Anaheim Regional Memorial, normal enough to recover, at home. So May 5th, I got checked out. They still didn't know what was going on with me. doctors couldn't agree. And I wanted to take out my gallbladder, but they couldn't take it out because my liver was so inflamed. I was jaundiced. I was yellow as a squash. And I was so weak. So, I recuperated at home. I went to fix myself. I said, okay, I'm going to approach this. If they don't know how to fix me, because all they said, Mike, was like, just eat a normal diet. Don't overexert yourself. It's like, well, yeah, there's what else? So I had to turn inward, like to my training, to my knowledge that has been given to me, that has been blessed, and a lot of people have taught me that I learned. So by July, because I was going for weekly blood tests to see how my liver enzymes were going, and everything had normalized. So I was ready to get back into action, right? So I was saying, hey doc, can I go back to the gym? Can I, I kept myself busy though, like even though I was feeling weak, my body was not fully recovered. I still continued to do my walking, as best as I could, because I knew that whenever I would do some exercise, it helped to rejuvenate and revitalize me. And my focus was just on living, was on recuperating, because I was not going to go down that way. They didn't know at that time about the fibrosis. All they knew was that high inflammation, chronic inflammation. So I went up to Canada, because I had some projects I was going to go and tackle, social media, because at that time I was a social media consultant, business development consultant. And the thing is though, somehow I had the foresight, like, well, I was recuperating here in California in 2013. I actually, when I was sick, I just took it upon myself to really finally get certified as a personal fitness trainer, as a sports nutritionist and everything. I said, I figured keep myself busy, keep my mind busy, because I'd always been in the health and nutrition field since my GNC days in 1998. It's just, and then I had taken, university courses that were, the GNC had sponsored with the University of Florida back in 2000, from 2000 to 2002. So I had this knowledge. So I went up to Canada, went to Vancouver. I got back into the gym, and October. There's something about 29. Like October 29, I end up back in the hospital. Flared up. I started feeling the pains, the gut pain, the weakness. So I'm like, I gotta go check myself back in. What I have learned is, like, when you are feeling really bad, don't wait till the last minute. Right? Go and have yourself checked. And it's a good thing I did, because my liver enzymes had shot up again. The doctors at that were mystified, so they had to find out what was going on with me again. So here was tubes all over me, blood tests being run every 4 hours. I was like I had needle marks all over me because they kept poking and drawing blood. And then I told them, like, look, you guys gotta get my medical records from California. Maybe you guys can see something in there. So there I was, 3 weeks in the hospital in Richmond, British Columbia. And when you're in a hospital, there's there's things that go through your mind. My thought was, like, is this, this is really serious, and am I gonna die? And second one was like the part of me that was like the warrior part of me was like, no, I'm mad, I'm mad, I'm pissed, I'm gonna find out what's going on. I'm going to find out what's going on, and I'm going to lick this, right? No matter what it is, no matter what diagnosis it is. But I'm going to approach it not with anger, but with love, okay? And what I learned from my mentor, Radha, was about self-love and self-care. So I was really going inwards. It was like, I was scared, I was scared. Like, fear is a natural part of it. When your body starts shutting down, when you don't know what's going on, the doctors can't figure it out. But I kept myself busy. Like, the nurses at the hospital, made me get up every morning, walk around the hospital floor. And I was like, part of me was like, I'm so weak, I'm so tired, I don't feel like it. And the nurse was like, I've seen your pictures on social media. They were looking at my social media. It's like, you're the fitness guy, you're the health guy, like you're strong. So this one nurse told me to get my butt off. She said, like, stop feeling sorry for yourself, stop the pity party, right? Get up and move. And thankfully, yeah, I listened to her. And then that's what you need sometimes. You need a push. You need someone to say, hey, stop living in the dumps. Because the more you live in the dumps, you will be in the dumps. So there you go. Every morning, I would shuffle around. I was like a little penguin. I was the youngest person in that floor. Even though I was already in my I was 47 at that time. Everyone else was like old, but here I am shuffling around. I got my IV attached to me, walking around, my butt hanging out, whatever. And then everything started getting better. They still couldn't figure out what was going on, so I went through a battery of tests, like MRIs, ultrasounds, more blood tests. So finally, but they were able to discharge me 3 weeks after. So like mid-November of 2013, they sent me home. So I was recuperating at my parents in Richmond, in their apartment, and I was still feeling weak, and I was a bit nervous, and I knew that there was something that was going to come down the pipes. I just didn't know. I was doing a lot of research on the internet, like researching about chronic inflammation, the scarring that they found in my liver, and I was like asking myself, like, how did this all happen? Why didn't I, really be aware of all this? So January 27, 2014, it finally came. Went to see my hepatologist, the liver specialist in Vancouver, and went to his office and sat down and, all right, said, doc, his name was Eric. lay it on me. Don't sugarcoat anything. What's going on? And he said, well, Mike, we analyzed all your records, from the United States, and we conferred, because I was pretty much assigned to the best gastroenterologist team in British Columbia, and assigned to one of the best young, doctors. And I didn't know at that time he was one of the best. He was a top liver transplant specialist, and I'm like, but anyway, he told me, well, Mike, you have this autoimmune condition, and you have stage 3, 4, fibrosis. I'm like, autoimmune what? I was familiar with autoimmune conditions, but when he said autoimmune hepatitis, I couldn't figure. Okay, so I don't have hepatitis A, B, or C, but you're saying I have autoimmune hepatitis. Okay, like that's something that's so totally new. What is it? He said, well, basically, you have significant scarring in your liver. We don't know exactly how that happened, but it's significant that you've been dealing with this since you were a kid. Since I was a kid, I didn't know. I didn't know what was triggering, but I had a genetic predisposition. And I said, okay. It was like, getting hit with like a heavyweight punch. I was almost knocked out. I was like, okay, let me gather myself. Tell me more about this condition. He said, well, one, it's incurable. I'm like, okay, incurable. Okay, that's modern science, right? He said, yeah, right now we don't have any clue how to fix it, how to cure it, just like any of these autoimmune conditions. I said, I was familiar with autoimmune, so I was thinking more about, Crohn's and IBS and everything, but first time I ever heard about autoimmune hepatitis. So I said, okay, so what are what's my prognosis? What's my chances of living? And he said, well, if you don't get treated for, like if you don't suppress the immune system, you're going to need a liver transplant. And at that time when they were analyzed, they said that very close to it. Your liver function is down to 6%. But thankfully, you know, the liver only needs 5% to be able to function properly. I'm like, okay, great. Okay, so I got 94% of my liver that's, you know, pretty much scarred as fuck. And you're saying it's incurable. And I said, well, what's my option then? So he said, well, we can, you know, what we usually treat people with this rare condition is these immune suppressing drugs. You know, there's Imuran, azathioprine, corticosteroids, and all that. Basically what it does, it suppresses the whole body's immune system from attacking the liver. Because like my body somehow had just honed in on the liver as the sole culprit of my misery. So it was actually bombarding it to the point that it was like, it's like having it's like, yeah, really your body destroying itself because there's a dysfunction inside. I said, okay, so what's the side effects though? Because you're telling me that it's immune suppressing. So that means I'll be susceptible to many other debilitating conditions. Okay, so what's the side effects of these drugs? As I said, you know, I reversed my diabetes just a couple of years ago, got off it. I said, I don't want to be on medication. I don't want to be on any painkillers. I said, I'm going to do it the natural way. He said, well, the natural way, there's no way that, you know, that's been shown. I said, well, I'll be the first. You know, I had this bravado in me. I was mad. You know, I was pissed. I'll be the first. I'll show you. I'll show everyone that I can heal myself. But I said, tell me first what the side effects of these drugs are, if I do agree to go with your proposal. And he said, well, one, the side effects are this, bloating. You're gonna gain weight again. It's gonna affect your kidneys, and go back to type 2 diabetes. And I said, like, wow. So in order to prevent my liver from being further deteriorating, or my body attacking my liver, you're gonna give me a drug or drugs, combination of drugs that will suppress my immune system so that I'll gain weight, be bloated, affect my kidneys, and who knows what else. He said, yeah, but we'll monitor it over 3 months, just make sure that everything is professionally done. And okay, but you said it's incurable. I said, no, I'm not taking that option. He says, well, that's the only option. It's incurable. It's impossible to cure it. I said, Doc, like, how many times have people said about the word impossible and things have happened beyond logic, right? Because I believe in myself. And when I say I believe in myself, it's not just me speaking, it's because of the light that's inside of me that's speaking. My soul was saying, no, don't just take this. Don't just go into the matrix just like everyone else. So he said, well, it's really up to you, Mike. This is what we recommend. And I said, you know what? I'll work with you. I'll work with you and the team here. But give me this opportunity to heal myself. Okay? We'll go for these tests, but I'm not going to go in any of your drugs. Right? I'm going to find a healing protocol. Okay? A natural way. Because so I can save myself, and then I want to be able to help save other people. Then, like I said, okay, that's fine. He just had me sign something to, absolve, waiver, whatever. And I left his office and then went downstairs, building, and I broke down. Like it's like the weight of it all. Like when you realize that the Grim Reaper is knocking on your door, it's like right by your side. It's like, hey buddy, how's it going? I'm with you. And I'm like, okay, I'll show you. But I was crying. I had to let go. And there's one thing about, we as human beings, we acknowledge the fear. We can have that bravado face, but we also have to acknowledge that we are fearful, because that's part of the human spectrum of emotions. And I had to recognize and accept that I was scared. Because here I am going into uncharted territory. So that's why today is a special significance. January 27th, that's the day of the diagnosis. And 4 years now, I'm living a normal life. I found ways to reverse and heal the condition that was supposed to be, killing me. But I still cope with it on a daily basis. Like, okay, yes, I've healed myself, I've reversed it, I live an active lifestyle. Like it led me to a lifestyle wherein I focus on me first, self-care first. The hell with what the rest of the world is asking from me, because that can wait. That can wait. Because we get so bogged down with problems in life and career and everything, and for what? Because in the end, when you step back, the problems are still going to be there. You go back to it, but you gotta start taking care of yourself. So I reflect on that now. It's 4 years, right? I put together something that they thought wouldn't work, but it did. Between the nutrition aspect of it, eliminating certain foods, and then putting positive affirmations in my brain, the spiritual connection, the meditation, because I had to talk to my body even further, to my cells, right? Because we are energetic beings. That is a proven fact, okay? We are energetic beings. We are made of the atoms, of the same atoms that is in this universe. All right? Irregardless of what your belief system is, the scientific fact is we are all matter and energy in the grossest form. So I started reading up on a lot of stuff, not just from the nutrition aspect. I started reading up on a lot of people that had done self-healing. Like Greg Braden was one of them. He had brain cancer. Then I met this guy who had stage 4 breast cancer up in Vancouver, and he was 25 years old at that time, and he healed himself too. So I'm thinking, okay, I started doing a lot more research. I wanted to go beyond the fear, beyond the illusions that when someone says that it's impossible, that you accept it. I said, the moment I accept that opinion, it becomes my fact. So when someone gives you an opinion, take it as a grain of salt, but don't accept it if it doesn't make sense. Because if it's driven by fear, driven by just logic, and then because of the limitations of science, I refuse that. And I went inward, deep inward, peeling away layers and layers. It's so important to put positive words, positive emotions, positive thoughts, and positive intentions, so that you can heal yourself inside and believe. Because left to its own devices, this mind will be so addicted to the pleasures and desires of this external world, right? The pleasures of taste, like something that tastes good, we want to keep in that pleasure. Something that feels good, we want to keep in that pleasure, right? Something that looks good to the eye, something that sounds good. We get addicted to all these pleasures of the sense. But it's temporary, because you know what? When we go, we go. We leave everything behind. So for me, when I reflect on this, and I said, I am gonna live this life the best that I can, but I turn inward. And I am grateful for every day that I am given. I reflect on this even more, like I've had a dear friend, Emma, pass away. And I remember when I was going through my healing time between 2014, 15, and 16, I was going back and forth between Vancouver and California, and the only people I was really keeping in touch with here when I would visit California at that time was Emma, Rachel, Nicole. Those are my direct contacts. Like I withdrew into a solitude wherein I had to withdraw from all the stuff that I was connected to down here. But I was also making new connections up in Vancouver, rebuilding my network. I kept myself busy, right? I kept myself busy. Physically, I dragged my ass to the gym every day, right? Whether it was just going to be on the treadmill, on the elliptical, I was doing weights. You guys saw it. You guys saw it on my Facebook. You guys saw it on my Instagram. I kept myself busy. You know, I found a way to go beyond the excuses. Right? And it's not just me. Like, it's been proven that when you focus on taking care of yourself, you gotta focus on taking care of yourself and loving yourself, then your body can repair and regenerate it. Right? Some people were saying, well, you know, be thankful, Mike, because God helped heal you. Yeah, God helped heal me because God is inside of me. Not an external deity that waves a magic wand just because I keep praying and I keep asking for it. I gotta do the work, right? And that's the thing about prayers. It's like you ask, but you gotta do it as well. You know, instead of ask, become the person that the universe will align with, the energies, so that you can heal yourself. Right? And then, you know, when I reflect on life and reflect on death, I know that every day I get closer to the end. But I'm not scared of it anymore like I was, you know, back then. And I'm grateful for all the people that have come into my life. Right? Because like when you start shifting your perspective and shifting your purpose, you know, like the universe leads you, God, the universe, whatever your belief system, you come to a certain junction in life, in your particular lifetime, in your journey, and you get steered, and you gotta adjust your sails. Because you can't be rigid, you can't be inflexible, you gotta be open to all the possibilities. Because life, the eternal force of life, like life itself, is ever changing. You may think that when you look at a tree that's in front of you, like right now, I'm looking at a tree, you know, right here in my front yard, and I think, okay, it's just sitting there, not moving. I look at a car that's parked there. It's not moving. It's just what my eyes see. But when you go on a subatomic level, matter and energy is still flowing, everything. That's the principle of energy. That's the principle of the universe. We are a big part of it, right? We are the male and female manifestation of energy. You know, female energy and matter, you know, masculine consciousness. So I reflect on this, and I want to just share with all of you so that you approach life and maybe, you know, learn something from me that you can take and apply to yourself. Right? For those who have autoimmune conditions, okay? It can be reversed. It can be healed. Right? You're not going to be the same person that you were before the diagnosis, but you can still live a functional life, a functional, dynamic, beautiful, active life. Right? Because like people see me externally and they say, wow, you know, I work out regularly, I'm active and everything. Internally, there is that battle. You know, there is that dynamic of energy wherein like one part of me wants to say, Mike, just give it up, just be done. But then there's that part of me says, no, I ain't done. You know, a lot more loving to give, a lot more positivity to share to the world. So that's what it is. You gotta find the balance. And then what I've learned too is not to be really attached to the external, you know, to what we see. Because in the end, we are all, like when we pass from this earth, that's it, we pass. You know, our consciousness, our soul transfers elsewhere. And this body, this husk, you know, like once, you know, we all die. I mean, this becomes just a shell, you know. It's, you know, it was a temporary home for the soul. And I live each day wanting to be, so that I can create new things and inspire people that, like, you know, in spite of whatever condition that you have, you can live a beautiful life, and that you can't be a slave to your own mind and to your body. So take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of your soul. Reconnect. When I say reconnect, you know, go for walks. You know, like people, you know, like people say, Mike, I can't be like you. You go to the gym regularly, you work out hard and everything. Oh, I said, you can't be like me because you're not me. I'm not you. All you gotta do is take care of yourself. You go for a walk. There's lots of parks around here in Southern California. Reconnect with nature. Breathe in. Breathe in the love. Breathe in the gratitude. Right? Let the energy flow through you. Let the universe reconnect with you. Take off your shoes. Go on the grass. Go on the beach. Ground yourself. Reconnect. Because we are all a part of this beautiful universe, that we've become so disconnected from. Right? And practice forgiveness as well. Forgiveness, gratitude, love, compassion, kindness. And the external stuff that's going on out in the world, how we can start healing ourselves is when we start practicing it first to us, and project it outward. Right? There's a lot of hurt going on, but there's a lot of beauty as well going on. So it depends on your point of view, right? You can either look at the world as a fucked up place, or you can look at the world as a beautiful place, because the stuff that is unseen, that we don't see on the media, we don't see put out there, there's a lot of beautiful things that we human beings are doing. Yes, we do still need to take care of our planet. We do still need to take care and be compassionate of our fellow human beings, and not be selfish, and not be isolationist or anything, or not be selective as to who deserves to live. Right? It's like, whether one religion is better than the other, or one color is better than the other. All of that is superficial bullshit to me. Right? Because in the end, right, we all die. We all die. Right? And once we start balancing out the feminine and masculine energies inside of us, and acknowledging the emotions that roil through us, and balancing it, right, and working inward, instead of asking, let's just go do. Power of intention, power of thought. Right? We always ask for something magic to happen, but we don't do the work for that magic to come in, to be received. So that is how, for me, what I learned through this journey of this mortality that I was, where the Grim Reaper is like, hey buddy, I'm, like the dark side of me, the shadow side of me. I acknowledge that. That's part of me. That's part of you. Right? So just accept and own all of it. I'm thankful that I'm able to share this. I had a lot of things. I was like, what do I say? What do I share? To those that have seen me on my journey, seen me go through, the equivalent of hell. Like, well, I said, I go through it with a smile. I go through it with courage. You gotta show up every day, and don't get too attached to the external stuff. Don't get too attached to this human body. I was having a talk with my sister last night, because, like, my dad's, been in and out of the hospital the last few months, and he's at that age, right? My mom too, and my dad said, I'm at peace. I'm ready to go whenever. So don't, like, we get attached to the body, we get attached to it. But for me, whatever happens, like, I know that I've been given a beautiful life, and that forever is always going to be inside of me, and that my parents did the best. And you accept everything, and be thankful for everything. And especially now, like I'm preparing for Emma's celebration of life. I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to say? I have something to say, but something inspirational, something that is happy. Because death, we've been conditioned that death is so sad, but really what it is, like, we become sad because we get our ego consciousness gets so attached to this form that we see in front of us, to the voice that we always are so familiar to hear, to the touch that that person gave to us. But let's celebrate that person, or the persons that have touched our lives, because that is the energy that's transferred and transmitted to us, and it resides in us forever. That's how energy works, right? When somebody of the light gives you light, you accept it, and the light stays in you. Now, if you get someone with a negative dark, like saying the darkness gives you that, then you process it and you learn from it and you let it go. So that's the cycle, the duality. You got to transcend that duality, between the light and the dark. That's about being human. We can perceive that. So I don't know how many days I got, years I got, and everything. But all I know is I'm gonna keep living it the best I can. All right. I make the choices that's important for me first. All right. I don't, listen to the opinions of others that really don't align with me. Right? Because that's their belief system, that's their projection, all the fears. I refuse to accept and take on their fears, take on their insecurities, take on their own belief system. Because, like, if I did that, I'd be dead. If I accepted that this disease was incurable and taken that path, I'd be dead, or at the very least, I'd be living a shell of a human, drugged up, fat, bloated, sick, waiting for death. That ain't the way I'm going to be going. Right? So I take care of my health. Take care of your health. Be mindful of what you put in your body. Be mindful of what you put in your heart. Be mindful of what you put in your soul. Because what you put in reflects on the kind of life and kind of person that you will be tomorrow. Each and every little thing that you do. Alright? So when you put in junk, when you eat junk and you are addicted to the pleasure of taste, it reflects in your body and it affects your mind. Alright, so if you indulge your mind in mediocrity without expanding knowledge, without putting positive growth thoughts, a bright growth mindset, guess what happens? You stagnate. Your mind degenerates. And then your soul, your real self, the real self gets trapped in just the existence of it, keeping us just breathing until that day finally comes and, hey, we gotta go. But life is about liberation. Life is more about, it's not about accumulating assets, not about status, power, all that. It's about giving. It's about love. That's the universal principle. That's what I've learned through all this. It's been 4 years. And I've been blessed with so many amazing people in my life. Amazing. Good and bad. I think, everything that I am now and everything that you are now is because of all the people that have come into our lives. Whether it's be for one moment in time or for a lifetime. What's important is the quality that's been brought in and how you start living your life. And it's about giving back. Giving back instead of taking. Alright, so reconnect with your soul, reconnect with yourself. And be open to all the possibilities. And never let fear be the dominant decision factor in how you live your life. Because beyond the fear, beyond the walls of doubt, it's an amazing world out there. Alright? Got my health workshop coming up, Huntington Beach, February 17. It got moved. So I'm going to do that workshop in Huntington Beach about health. I'm going to actually be sharing a special recipe, like special treats that my sister helped, actually basically created back when I was in Vancouver, because I couldn't eat anything at the time. So my second book is coming out. I've got new courses coming out. I'm working with an amazing, my amazing friend, my best friend, and we're just putting it out there. We want to make this world a happier, better place. All right? Love you all with all my heart, with all my soul. Thank you for being a part of my life. Okay. Have a beautiful weekend. Namaste.